Hiya, my name is Vortex. I am your host today, and I am welcoming you to the Land of Dreams, Penacony from the game Honkai Star Rail. Today I'm going to go ahead and tell you about how Honkai Star Rail's story really messed me up. So to give a bit of context and a little bit of foreknowledge, my interest in Star Rail wasn't all that great to start. I mean, I was already in the height of playing Genshin Impact, and I was told about this new game, Honkai Star Rail, that was coming out, and I wasn't particularly a fan of turn-based combat, but I decided to give it a try anyway because all of my friends were playing it as well. So I downloaded the game and I started playing. It was a little bit rough to start because, like any other Hoyoverse game, it's a little bit of a slow burn when it starts off. So we went through Belobog and went through the snooze fest that was the first Xianzhou arc and stuff like that, and then I hit Penacony. Penacony really changed the game because it messed me up. Emotionally, Penacony was a bit of a roller coaster because it would throw you a gut punch and you'd be on a high and then a low and then a high and a low. It was insane. So to give you a little bit more of an in-depth look, I first found I was on sort of a hiatus from playing Star Rail after the Xianzhou and stuff like that. And then I just happened to come across the live stream for the release of Penacony, and it was super fun because it was sort of in the style of an old, like, I want to say 70s or 80s TV show, like, my old man would watch, when I was a kid. I mean, granted, it was all reruns because I'm not that old. But it was super fun to watch, and it really set the mood for Penacony. Started off really strong with the introduction of Acheron and the mysterious nature around her, and the sudden departure that we had from her first meeting as well. From there, we start to explore Penacony and start to get settled in, and then we meet our new friend, Firefly. Firefly is an absolute sweetheart, and she's just there to enjoy the Land of Dreams. And we end up going on a little bit of a date, good old fun, happy time. She's showing us around, and then things start to get a little bit interesting, a little out of hand. Not quite too out of hand, but things start happening that you didn't expect. And you start to see the seedy underbelly of Penacony start to seep in. The little cracks start to form over time. And then it punches you in the gut right in the middle of it all. There's death in Penacony. So, from there, we continue on to try and uncover what is going on with this world of Penacony. We meet Firefly again, and her story absolutely obliterated me. It was probably the most impactful and inspiring story that I've ever heard, and it spoke to me on a personal level like a lot of Hoyoverse games have in the past. And not to mention, Penacony as a whole definitely brought up a lot of, it made you think. It really made you think, and it gave you a lot of time to think. You are essentially the explorer, investigator in this story that's unfolding before you, and more or less trying to save Penacony from its terrible fate. And the twists and turns that come along with it just absolutely were wonderful and amazing, and I've absolutely enjoyed it. I currently have finished the next Xianzhou arc, which involves Fei Xiao and her struggles and internal hardships. And yeah, it was a brief update story on the Xianzhou, but I enjoyed it because it's also spoke to me on a personal level, because it helped me understand a lot about the true enemy of myself is myself. And that's very true in a lot of aspects as well. I'm truly grateful to be able to experience all these wonderful tales and stories that people get to spin, and Star Rail is no different in this regard, and I've truly been enjoying that, and I can't wait to see what they're cooking next. So if you enjoyed this video, I would highly recommend going and checking out Strangely's channel. I'll leave it linked below, because he will be releasing a video where I'll be guest starring in for a brief role, where he will be covering a bit of a crossover between Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, that being analyzing what Genshin characters' paths would be for Star Rail. And I guess you could probably guess which character I'll be covering. So I'll leave his channel link below. Keep an eye out for that. It's not quite out yet, but it will be soon. And I highly recommend subscribing to this channel, leaving a like and a comment if you would like to see me do talk about some other topics in the future, or if you just wanted to go ahead and talk about this topic in general. And with all that said, have a sweet dream.